99.99% of Seventh-day Adventists have never read Working Policy 075. World's Last Chance believes that no genuine follower of Yahweh will remain a member of the SDA Church after reading the 1926 GC Working Policy 075 and understanding its dire implications, for in this policy the SDA Church forfeited and even betrayed the very reason for its existence. It was in 1924 that John Norton Lowbrow passed away. Satan wasted no time. Just 2 years after the passing of this last faithful pioneer of the SDA Church, in 1926, the General Conference adopted Working Policy 075. We recognize those agencies that lift up Christ before men as a part of the divine plan for evangelization of the world, and we hold in high esteem Christian men and women in other communions who are engaged in winning souls to Christ. 11 years after the death of Ellen White, this policy was embraced. The epitome of all previous profanity from within that conference, this satanic coup d'etat was campaigned for and then received without a whimper at the heart of Christ's remnant. According to the GC, all agencies that lift up Christ upon Yahweh's earth are held in high esteem. Since there is not a single Christian denomination or society that does not lift up Christ, otherwise it will not claim to be Christian, the GC's Working Policy 075 is confirmation that as far back as 1926, the Seventh-day Adventist Church rebelliously adopted a course opposite the one established and embraced by the pioneers and the founders of the Church. Their leaders, having chosen to adopt this policy, which extends to all Christian denominations who lift up Christ as part of the divine plan for the evangelization of the world, includes the Jesuit Order of the Holy See. These not only seek the salvation of mankind, but as well seek the demise of all who will not follow after their chosen principles, that is, of the Society of Jesus. Their unique teachings are mostly found to be non-Christian pedagogics. Yes, according to the GC, this is what Working Policy 075 was all about. It was not possible for Satan to succeed in getting the leaders of the SDA Church to orchestrate such a policy while Ellen White was alive, as below are but a few of her warnings about the Church of Rome. Shall this power, whose record for 1,000 years is written in the blood of the saints, be now acknowledged as a part of the Church of Christ? Protestants have tampered with and patronized popery. They have made compromises and concessions which papists themselves are surprised to see and fail to understand. Men are closing their eyes to the real character of Romanism and the dangers to be apprehended from her supremacy. The people need to be aroused to resist the advances of this most dangerous foe to civil and religious liberty. What were the fruits of this diabolical working? The fruits of this policy abound in wickedness, but we will mention just a few detestable examples. The unbelievable report of Arthur Maxwell, former editor of Signs of the Times, after attending the Ecumenical Vatican II Council in Rome. This report may be very offensive, so reader discretion is advised. First, the friendliness of the welcome. You see, I've been there several times, that is, to Rome. Always a sort of an iciness there, but not anymore. Not anymore. And it was evident in so many ways. For instance, in the giving of these press passes. Brother Marvin E. Lowen was there from Religious Liberty, Brother Raymond F. Cottrell from the Review and Herald, Brother Bert B. Beach was there from Northern Europe, and I was there from the Signs, and provided you had a good reason for asking for a pass, you got it. If you were an editor or a correspondent for a real newspaper, they gave the pass, and they gave them to people of all faiths. Here, 4 Adventists got these passes. I thought you would like to see mine, the press pass. It's the only document I have which has the cross keys and the Triple Crown on it. I sat closer to the Pope than any of the cardinals. I was only 40 feet away from him for 3 or 4 hours, and I had the clearest view, just as clear as some of you 40 feet away. The reason I know he was 40 feet away, I stepped it out after the service was over because I thought, nobody will ever believe me that I sat so long, so near to His Holiness. Here we have the editor of the official flagship magazine of the Seventh-day Adventist Church calling the Pope His Holiness. Can you also imagine the abominable act of Maxwell stepping off the distance between his seat and that of the throne of the Antichrist Pope John XXIII? In 1973, Bert B. Beach, a high-ranking General Conference official, co-authored a book with Lucas Vischer, Secretary of the World Council of Churches. The title of the book, So Much in Common Between the World Council of Churches and the Seventh-day Adventist Church. The book was published by the World Council of Churches, Geneva, Switzerland, 1973. The SDA Church in 1973 admitted that there is much in common between the teachings of the Church then and the fallen churches of Babylon. Contrast the position of the SDA Church in the book they published along with the World Council of Churches with the following pointed warning by Ellen White. Those who engage in the solemn work of bearing the third angel's message must move out decidedly and in the Spirit and power of God, fearlessly preach the truth and let it cut. They should elevate the standard of truth and urge the people to come up to it. It has been lowered down to meet the people in their condition of darkness and sin. It is the pointed testimony that will bring up the people to decide. A peaceful testimony will not do this. The people have the privilege of listening to this kind of teaching from the pulpits of the day. But God has servants to whom He has entrusted a solemn, fearful message to bring out and fit up the people for the coming of Christ. There is as great a difference in our faith and that of nominal professors as the heavens are higher than the earth. In 1977, Pope Paul VI rewarded B.B. Beach for his book with a private audience. In appreciation of this privilege, this historic concession by the Antichrist, the SDA Church presented the Pope with a gold medallion. Here is how this traitorous act by the SDA Church was reported. In connection with a recent consultative meeting of secretaries of World Confessional Families held in Rome, B.B. Beach, Secretary of the Northern Europe West Africa Division, one of the 15 participants and the only Adventist in the group, presented a book and a medallion to Pope Paul VI on May 18th. The medallion was a gold-covered symbol of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. The medallion is an engraved witness to the validity of the Ten Commandments. While the other commandments are represented simply as Roman numerals, the words of the fourth, "Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy," are written out. To further please Pope Paul VI, the SDA Church, when quoting the Sabbath commandment on the medallion that was presented to Pope Paul VI, removed the seventh day from the text and quoted the commandment in the same way it is quoted in any Roman Catholic catechism. For more information about the extent of the rotten fruit that the SDA Church has harvested since the adoption of General Conference Working Policy 075, please visit The sole reason we publish such articles at World's Last Chance is because we still have family, relatives, and friends trapped within the walls of the SDA Church, convinced that the SDA Church is still the apple of His eye. We are praying that an awakening will take place in their midst that will convict them the SDA Church has indeed become a harlot, daughter of the mother of harlots, the Roman Catholic Church. In amazement, they hear the testimony that Babylon is the church fallen because of her errors and sins, because of her rejection of the truth sent to her from heaven.